And for Off the Block, I'm Vane Lopes, and we are now joined by the new head coach of St. Thomas Men's Volleyball, Harris Boys, as he is beginning to take over a program that was in a conference championship final match last season. So, Harris, I guess let's start right there for you. You've been at the helm of this job now for about a month. What's been the biggest thing you've noticed about this new program that you're taking over?
The first thing I noticed, the players, the returning guys, they're hungry. They got their taste of Division I-II ball last year, losing to Lincoln Memorial in the IBA finals. But they're hungry kind of solidify themselves as a true Division I-II program for the entire country and especially the Cincinnati area.
And looking for you in your coaching journey, you have experience coaching at the Division III. You were on the staff at Fairleigh Dickinson under Carl France. What's been the biggest things that you've learned from those experiences that helped you prepare for this new role?
I'm going to tell you one of my favorite Carl France quotes is, you don't know what you don't know. And just being around some different programs, whether it's Fairleigh Dickinson, Villanova, being head coach at Mount St. Vincent, you kind of learn that there's always more you can learn. And the more you kind of figure out and go about discovering makes this job a little easier and hopefully your team a little better at the same time. And that's ultimately the goal, is kind of being around some different programs. Carl France was a great example of, hey, this is how you run a program. The same with Josh Steinbach over at Villanova.
Yeah, you look at St. Thomas More, this is a program that is growing, going from NAIA, a couple of years ago, now playing all the way up here at the D1 level. What is it like for you to be part of this transition in a school that's kind of going to take it to the next level?
Yeah, it's super interesting. It's not something you can really prep for until you're there and understand the guys' personalities and kind of what they're in it for. When they are in the gym, everyone is equally motivated, putting in the same amount of effort, but also understand that, hey, maybe the seniors did not sign up to play Division I-II ball and they have a full-time job or part-time job to go with this, and just to understand the human aspect and kind of honestly keeping the kids happy while keeping the program afloat and taking steps forward. And I think it's something the underclassmen, they're definitely here to compete and play some Division I ball as well as the upperclassmen, but it's a super interesting dynamic that way. And going forward, the entire fall was, hey, how do we try to get the 19 guys we have on the same page, the same goals, the same mindset? And knock on wood, so far, I think we've been fairly successful with that.
Well, talking about those goals, looking at this team, what would you consider a successful season for your group of players in 2025?
Yeah, Mike, once again, we're trying to solidify ourselves as a Division I-II program. I think obviously improving on the record as they started as a Division III program 6-7 years ago, and from their time at NAIA to even last year's the first year in D1, the former coach, Coach Ober, did a great job of consistently improving the team and their record and their ranking, and quite frankly, as they get comfortable playing college volleyball. The goal this year is, I think the program tasted some victory towards the end of last season, winning some matches in 5 that they originally might have had a defeat earlier in the season versus those teams, and kind of solidifying that, hey, we're here to stay, and also trying to make things a little easier for us, and getting those wins at the start of the season as well as the end of the season. But trying to, just like all other schools that are establishing themselves, trying to pick up a trademark win or two, but also taking care of our record and getting ready for the IBA tournament.
Well, you talk about the IBAs, this is your final season in the IBA before St. Thomas More transitions over and joins the GLVC. And just want to get your thoughts of what you think that is going to do for your program competing in the GLVC as opposed to the IBA. Obviously, we all have respect for the IBA and the stuff that they are doing for independent programs.
Yeah, first off, it allows us to have a conference schedule with guaranteed matches, start establishing some rivalries and this and that, and looking forward to playing some teams and getting to know our opponents. Right now, trying to find 20, 25 matches for the guys as an independent it's challenging. So having those guaranteed matches allows us to, hey, how do we want to go about our non-conference and make it challenging and make it productive for us at the same time, instead of, oh, how do we get matches on the schedule? But ultimately, from a recruiting standpoint, it now gives a high school kid a an outlook of, hey, this is how this team can make it to the NCAA tournament if they're winning our conference. And ultimately, that's the goal for every program, find a way into the tournament. And that's what we're looking to do.
And a couple of final questions here before we wrap up. I want to ask you about your schedule for 2025. I know you were hired a couple of weeks ago, a few months ago, so probably been pretty difficult to put together a little bit. But are there any matches on the books that you're most excited about as we wait for your schedule to officially be released?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely had to do some cleanup work with the schedule. Just finding the guys some matches, some things falling through the cracks, but they're definitely looking forward to playing IPFW, just another team around this area, and also it's true D1 competition of a program that has a great historic record, and Coach Donnie is going to have that program up and running great out there. And then I think we have 2 matches towards the end of the season with Charleston as well, so they're kind of the highlight matches until we get to the IVA tournament, where I think it's those more quote-unquote name brand historical men's volleyball teams that get the publicity and whatnot, and our guys have some goals, to put their name on the map.
Kind of looking at this team, who's one or two players who people may not know a whole lot about your program are going to probably know these players at the end of the season because they're putting up some big numbers?
Yeah, I mean, we have a strong kind of upperclassman in Benjamin Albers. He's 6'5", oppo, has alopecia, so he kind of stands out, but wears it with a pride of or badge of honor, which is awesome representation for our program. But also, we have a really strong freshman class. I mean, we're looking at 2 to 4 guys possibly making an impact in this lineup. We do have Tyler Vasquez at libero. Tyler played for Sports Performance, won a national championship last year. So just bringing in some younger guys that are just used to some winning culture. Kevin Pryor, going to be a stud for us at some point. And then those role guys that have been with the program taking a big step up in play, and hopefully some iron sharpen iron type of deal in our gym.
And Harris, final question before we let you go. Obviously, you're excited about your players in the gym right now, but looking ahead 2026, 2027, as you begin the recruiting, what's the type of player that you're hoping to bring into this program?
Yeah, I mean, my recruiting, even the past month or two of being here, has changed a ton because, gung-ho, come in, we need to find talent, And, yeah, that's always the case, but also understanding my dynamic with the team of, hey, we have been through some transitions of different levels of play, and that's not that. And ultimately, Coach Over left me with a good group of guys, especially the underclassmen, that are hungry, ready to get after it, and ultimately finding guys that match that mentality, So I think a question that's become pretty important is like, hey, why college volleyball? Why do you love this? Why do you want to do it? And to me, that's half the battle. If we can find someone that's athletic, halfway decent at ball, we can turn them into the athlete man that they want to be.